Hey, what's up guys? And I'll be giving you a important piece of information after the intro. So yeah, stay in tune for that. And yeah, I'm here with something new to find out more about all of this and what is taking place with the channels. Just listen up after the intro, guys. So I got this idea some time ago, and I figured that it was about time that I finally drop it. It was already stored away, already finished, so yeah. Lucky thing I backed this one up on my phone, so yeah, here it is. What if Naruto gave up on his dreams? Let us dive into a world where in a crucial part of the Naruto universe, a crucial part of his building, a crucial part of his story, Naruto changed. An incident that would change him forever. So the fun-loving, goofy Naruto that everyone knows becomes a completely different person, having a new drive, having a new goal. How will that affect the people around him and himself? How would that affect him power-wise, mentally? Well, if you want to find out, just go ahead and obliterate that red subscribe button if you're new and stay in tune. So yeah, I'll see you guys after the intro. Let's begin now, guys. So before we jump into this, if you have not, check out the post on the community tab. I lost my laptop and I lost a lot of information, but I got a new one, guys. But some of the previous what ifs like Father Nature and the Hedgehog, which was holding up these channels because I'm only doing 3 at a time on each channels. I've lost a script for that. I'm gonna have to redo it because there were certain key factors that I really had written it down given the amount of what ifs I'm currently doing. So yeah, I lost a huge chunk of that, so I'm going to be redoing those, guys. So these one on the channels won't be finished, but I'm going to be redoing the story and I'm going to be changing up a bit because I'm going to be writing it over. But for the time being, I'm going to be releasing a few of your what ifs that you guys have given me in the past. Keep in mind that I'll only be doing at least 3 on a channel at a time. So when one of them is finished, I'll be releasing another one. So right now I post the Asusuke DNA, and this is going to be a new one as well, and one other. So 3 to each channels. And don't you worry, I've seen your comments. The 8 Gate Naruto, the Vegito Naruto, and several others that I've gotten. I've write all of your comments down, but you have to keep in mind that I got some of these ideas a long time ago. And some of you guys have been waiting for them, so I figure that I'll have to drop those first. So just stay in tune and give me some time, and I'll be posting them as soon as possible. And I hope you guys enjoy. So yeah, let us jump in this new scenario, shall we? Let's begin now, guys. The words that were coming out of his mouth, he couldn't hear them. A young boy. His name was Naruto Uzumaki. He was 12 years old. Blonde, spiky hair, whisker marks on both of his cheeks. He gazed towards the leader of the village. Tonight was a very hectic night. He was tricked into stealing the Forbidden Scroll. However, not just that. He realized a lot about himself. There were certain things that he did not know. However, the most concerning part of it was someone that he trusted more than everyone else had been lying to him all this time. Every single time when he questioned him why. It was just a facade. Was it really just a way to use and manipulate him? He gazed towards the one that he believed was a grandfather. The one that was supposed to protect him. However, finding out that every single time that he asks, and he knew why, but yet never truly telling him, To think that a traitor was the one that told him that he possessed the 9 tails. A beast that ravaged the village. A beast that ripped the village apart and slaughtered so many. Walking home, Naruto's mind was foggy. For the first time, he was truly focused on something. He wasn't illiterate, but Naruto was a dumb individual. He let things slide, he overlooked certain things. However, as he reached home and collapsed on his bed, he couldn't understand why. Why would the village ever be okay with him being Hokage? A dream of his since he was younger. To make them see him, to make them respect him. Because they respected and saw the old man. However, he contained the very thing that wiped so many of their family members out. So many of their loved ones. He lacked true family. He didn't have a brother or sister or mother or father. They were all gone. He was an orphan since he could remember. And if he lost something, if he lost people that were so close to him by something that was still within his vicinity, he would hate it as well. So how could he expect them to forget the past? About the thousands that died because of what was inside of him. Every single day, every single time that they look at him, it would be a constant reminder that he was a part of the problem. He would never get that dream. He would never get that goal of becoming Hokage. Was all of this a waste of time? All of that shouting, all of that screaming on top of his lungs, all of that prank, the disdain, the hate, all of this was just now hitting Naruto like a train. This had simply opened his eyes, opened his mind to something that was always there, but he refused to see it. But now he knew. He lied in his bed. Naruto was someone that never truly ever felt the taste of depression. Whenever it came along, he wiped it away with a smile. But now, he felt overwhelmed. He felt swallowed. He didn't feel angry. He wasn't even angry at Hiruzen. He wasn't even angry at the fort for sealing the 9 tails inside of him. He just felt so sad, depressed, knowing that he could never truly achieve his dreams. Knowing that the hate that they saw him with, the fear that they saw him with, fearing that one day he might go berserk, would never truly disappear. As Naruto lay there, he barely slept. He had 5 days before the true graduation for them to go on to be ninjas. He just lay there. He blacked out and came back to, sleeping or whatnot. However, Naruto did not move from his spot. When hours turned into days, he felt hungry, but for the first time, Naruto never craved for ramen. Something was just different. He never truly had to deal with these feelings before because he always believed he could overcome them. Be the better person. One day show them that he's worthy of their respect. But why should they forgive him? He knew that he wasn't the 9 tails, but he had it. How could they get past that? 12 years. He's been alive for 12 years and nothing has changed. How could he ever expect that it would? It wouldn't change. It will always remain the same. Naruto thought to himself as he lay there. The hunger became great. However, the taste, the delicious part of the ramen that always made him smile, that always made him lick his fingers and his lips, felt so bland, felt so empty. It was like the food was only for substance, not for taste. Naruto showered. As he walked, he saw the eyes. He saw the way they look away and mumble under their breath. And now more than ever, Naruto gazed up and gazed into the eyes of one of the civilians. The man was taken aback, seeing a great deal of sadness, like the child was being overwhelmed. He too was a part of the populace that stayed away. He too was a part of the group that turned their gaze and whisper. It was the first time that he saw into the child's eyes and saw that look. He tried to shake it off, trying to convince his mind otherwise, that they were not supposed to feel this way about a child that was a problem. He was a problem after all. His hands stuffed in his pockets, Naruto made his way towards the mountain, the monument, where the greatest leaders reside. He believed that one day his name would be right here. However, now, Naruto gazed over the edge before proceeding to sit down. As he lay back and gazed into the sky, the heavens darkened as rain started to fall. He wasn't even wearing his headband. He left it on the table. Last night was a good and bad night. He was so happy when he got it from Haruka, but these thoughts, they just came out of nowhere. And now, as the rain started to shower down on him, Naruto did not move, simply lying there, within the cold, within the pouring rain, as he gazed at the heavens. It was really troubling that he could not shake this feeling. Days passed by as we find Naruto arriving to the academy. Something was gravely different. For one thing, he was late. Haruka had not arrived yet, but several students were there. Naruto started to walk up the steps. As he paused, as Sakura Haruna was coming down, she saw him and sighed. "No," she said. "I will not go on a date with you." Naruto looked at her for a long moment. "Have I really been that annoying?" he said. His question was something that she wasn't expecting, but she retaliated as she usually would. "Yes, you've really been annoying," she yelled, causing many to turn their gaze. She pushed past him. Naruto made his way and sat down, up at the top row, as he gazed through the window. There was a few people within the class that took notice of the difference. One of them being Shikamaru Nara, a rather lazy, unmotivated boy. However, Naruto's face was completely different. You could tell that something was wrong. Another would be rather surprising. Sasuke Uchiha. He did not really care about people that much. However, even he saw the change within Naruto Uzumaki. Given Naruto's previous attitude, someone that would be following Sakura to wherever she was going, and yet, that look on his face. Another one was Hinata Hyuga. Something was wrong, she could tell immediately. She knew her Naruto from day one. Naruto was someone that she admired, someone that she had a crush on, someone that never gave up no matter what, but now, that all seemed to have changed. His eyes seemed different, his face, the feeling that was coming off him seemed so different. Haruka came in the class. As he turned his gaze upwards, not seeing Naruto at his usual spot, fighting to sit next to Sakura, but instead all the way at the top. He was confused by that, but more so confused when he saw Naruto's eyes. Naruto's eyes were always filled with light, excitement, joy, but now, they seemed so much dimmer than before. They seemed so hollow. Haruka started to announce what team they would be placed on as he went through one after another, until Team 7 arrived. When Sakura heard her name, "Please be Sasuke, please be Sasuke." Then she heard Naruto Uzumaki. Her head slammed on the table, causing her to scream no. Of all the people. As she turned around, surprised that he wasn't sitting next to her. She's gotten really good at blocking him out, but he wasn't there. That is when she saw him gazing through the window, not even paying attention. However, her attention was drawn when she heard who was going to be the other member. Now that caused her to scream in delight, Sakura. She was rather embarrassed as Aruka told her to sit down. Time skip. Before Aruka left the class, his gaze focused once more on Naruto, wondering what was wrong. But he never got the answer as he left. As all the other members started to file out, Sakura felt something strange. What was bugging her when she realized that Naruto had not even tried to talk to her? No, that was odd. Even Sasuke was also thinking the same thing. As Naruto's gaze was simply fixated through the window, not paying attention to anything or anyone. He was just looking. Sakura wondered what was wrong. As she got to her feet, making her way over. Despite being rather annoying, Naruto boosts her confidence daily by asking her out. "What's wrong with you?" she said. She got no response. "Hey, I'm talking to you." Finally, she moved around and saw that he was fully awake, yes. He was just not paying attention to her. Fine, be that way. I don't need to talk to you either. He's probably trying to act cool like Sasuke or something, she thought to herself as she made her way to sit down. However, despite everything, it was bugging her that he had completely not take notice of her presence or say a word. It was angering her greatly as she proceeded to sit back down. As the time flew by, no one really did anything, no one really talked. When the man of the moment finally arrived, his first gaze towards all of the members. They all seemed rather calm and collected, gazing towards the one that was supposed to be the loud, obnoxious one. Yet, even he seemed a bit different from the report that he was given. "My first impression of you all. Well, you all seem rather annoying," he said, making the other two sweat drop. "Meet me on the roof." Which they did. Kakashi told them to introduce themselves. Started with Sakura, which, well, there wasn't much sensible words there, just her obsession with Sasuke and her dislike for Naruto and Ino. She was trying to get a rise out of Naruto, but once again there was nothing. Kakashi Hataki glanced towards the boy, wondering what was wrong. Sasuke was the next one to go. His was much more darker and ended with him getting his revenge. He then turned towards the final member. When it came for Naruto to describe what he liked, he had to dig back because lately nothing has been tasting good. "I like ramen," he said. Naruto was rather vague on what he was trying to say. When Kakashi questioned his dreams, Sakura and Sasuke expected to hear the same thing. "I don't know." Both of them were shocked, you could see. Even Sasuke was taken aback. He spent the better part of the last 6 years constantly hearing, "I'm going to be the next Hokage. I'm going to be the Hokage. I'll be the leader of this village." Now Sakura was a bit concerned. That wasn't naturally what Naruto would say, and that look on his face. Kakashi Hatake knew a lot about this boy despite never actually meeting him face to face. And his response was a bit alarming. He would see what the future brings. As he told him about the tests. That night, Naruto lay on his bed, not feeling motivated to do anything. He hated this feeling. He's never been backed into a corner so much that he could not dig himself out of it with a cheery smile. But every time he tried to break out of this depression, it always come back down stronger. Strangely enough, the only thing that he was feeling was sadness, and nothing more. He did everything. He bathed, he ate, he went for walks, he trained in the forest, trying to get his strength up. But a part of him was really vanishing away. That cheery, goofy part. And he hated that feeling. When the day finally arrived, they found themselves gathered, once again waiting on the copy ninja. Sakura had enough of this new Naruto because, despite her always yelling at the old one, she preferred the old Naruto, the goofy one that was always asking her out, the goofy one that she could put down, that made her feel superior. She marched right over towards him. Naruto gazed up as she was blocking the sun, her shade down on him. "What's your problem?" she said. "Why are you acting this way all of a sudden? You never used to act like this. Weren't you the one that said I was annoying? Why do you care? Stop pretending like you're all that," she said. "You're the goofy one, the idiot. So be like it," she said, believing that her words would snap him back into place. Naruto got up to his feet, causing her to step back. He then started to walk away. "Hey, don't walk away from me," she said. "Naruto! Naruto," she called, but he ignored her. Something was really different. As much as he pretended like he wasn't paying attention, Sasuke was. Curious about this change. That fool that was always fawning over the girl was now acting this way. What caused a drastic change like this? He was curious, but he himself was not going to investigate. After around 2 hours, Kakashi showed up, telling them about the test, which was a lot more difficult than they originally thought. Because if they fail, they will be sent back to the academy. Now that came as a shocker. Kakashi gave the go-ahead as they all flashed away. Naruto was seated in the forest, monitoring the copy ninja, just watching him. He was reading a book. He did not see them as a threat. He wasn't taking them as a true challenge. Why would he? How would they possess the power to take him down? He's a Jonin. A Jonin compared to a Genin was absolutely nothing. Chunin levels aren't even on Jonin levels. So how would he win? Naruto sat there. This was what was truly bothering him. His drive to do most things feels so empty. And he despised that feeling that he was currently being affected by at the moment. However, Sasuke, wanting to test himself, as he wastes no time going after the man, realizing that he needed to put his plan into action, which resulted with him being buried underground. Naruto started to laugh. The first time he's laughed since. He found it hilarious that happened, and also that anyone would think they stand a chance of defeating this man at their level. That is when he saw one of the bells on the ground. It perhaps fell off when he was fighting Sasuke. No, that was stupid. Of course it did not fall off. The man would have noticed, right? Naruto made his way down there. He knew what he was doing was wrong. He knew that most likely it was a trap. But he went after it. When he found himself strung up, upside down, being the only one to be restrained, Naruto simply hung there, not even trying to fight to get free. Kakashi Hataki came to a stop observing the boy. He knew that something was off with the child. From the moment he started to talk about his dreams and goals. He heard the boy before, screaming to whoever would listen that he would be the next Hokage, but now, that was that was gone. He wasn't acting that way. Something was different. Naruto eventually cut himself down, only to fall into another trap. He was bound and tied on the ground as he lay there on his back, simply watching as the time went by. Eventually, they fail. I'll give you one more shot after lunch. You being the one to be restrained. You won't eat anything, he said to Naruto as he flashed away, not before warning them though not to feed him. Naruto's stomach grumbled as he did not eat this morning. He gazed at the ground. Perhaps we need to work together. After all, none of us are strong enough to defeat that man. Sakura wanted to say something about Sasuke's strength, but seeing her beloved buried in the ground with his head on the surface made her swallow her words. But Sasuke realized that Naruto was right. Here, he said. Naruto looked at him confused. Why? You're right. If we're going to take him down, we're going to need to work as a group. And we can't be effective if one of us is down. Sasuke on his right, Sakura said. Eat up. Sakura said, now sharing her meal. As Naruto did not eat though. What are you waiting for, she said. He shrugged his shoulders and proceeded to bite down when Kakashi arrived. However, they weren't as bad off as they thought. Time skip. I think something is wrong with him, sir. Kakashi Hataki spoke to the Hokage, giving all the information to him. However, Hiruzen was even more so concerned because Aruka had spoken to him before. He believed that Aruka was simply taking what he see out of context, but he was wrong, as Kakashi had saw it as well. Naruto did not seem to be doing so well. Hiruzen thought back, remembering what happened not too long ago. He believed that the event didn't trigger and affect Naruto as he thought, but perhaps it was greater than he originally thought, and he hadn't even noticed. He needed to find out what was truly going on. Time skip. Yeah, I'm fine, Naruto said with a smile, looking at Hiruzen. Hiruzen was at his apartment, curious to speak to Naruto about his transition into being a shinobi and how he was handling things. However, Hiruzen left, knowing that something was deeply wrong. Naruto said everything perfectly, but that was the point. He wasn't acting like Naruto. Hiruzen feared that something might have happened, but the child was not going to willingly tell him. On the inside, Naruto did not know why he lied. He didn't know why he was keeping this to himself. No, that was the strange part as well. However, perhaps if he faked it, it would become a reality, he thought to himself. So that is what he did, as days turned into weeks, and week turned into a month. Hiruzen Sarutobi was once again greeted by Team 7. Team 7 was taking their mission. So far things have been going well, but they've been doing nothing but D-ranks. However, Hiruzen expected Naruto to be tired of this, and expected something much greater, but so far, no. He hasn't asked. He's not made any indication to show that he's annoyed by the D-ranks. Their teamwork was not even getting that better. Naruto seemed to be isolating himself away from the both of them. Sasuke wanted nothing to do with Sakura, who wanted everything to do with him. And she was trying to get Naruto to return back to normal, which wasn't working at all. Kakashi believed that they would be due for something that would help them to come together. Hiruzen had his people monitor Naruto for the past month, but so far there has been nothing. His behavior has been strange. sitting and gazing off into the distance. No pranks, no messing around. He seemed so well-mannered and quiet. But that was bad for someone like Naruto. But there has been no outside influence to show that something was physically wrong with him, but mentally. That is where Hiruzen was getting thrown off. After this mission outside of the village, Hiruzen was going to request that Naruto talks to someone. He spoke to someone about the recent change in behavior. The man was Inoichi Yamanaka. Inoichi told him that it seemed to be a great sign of depression. It allowed Hiruzen to think about the news about him finding out that he was a nine-tailed Jinchuriki. He was so focused on believing that everything was alright. He didn't really see just how much it affected Naruto, and that was his fault. So he was going to find a way to solve this. Inoichi had no problem sitting down with the boy so they could have a conversation after this mission outside the village. Kakashi believed that this was going to help them greatly. However, while that was going on, someone was blazing through the heavens. Yes, it was rare in this day and age for people being able to fly. Extremely rare. As a person came to a stop, landing down on a mountainside, there was a smile on their face as they gazed out into the vast distance. They seemed rather happy about the sight that they were greeted with. Most of their features were obscured. There was a scarf covering their face, perhaps due to the high velocity that they were flying at. They had a backpack on, along with a strange white clothing. Their stomach was exposed, a white shirt with a mesh coming out a bit above their stomach area, along with a white skirt, along with shorts underneath. They had a bright mint color hair. As they took off and made their way, they seemed to be tracking someone. Yes, they were tracking someone. Time skip. Team 7 found themselves venturing towards the land of Wave. Their client, a drunk, who expected more out of the kids that he insulted, but the only ones that glared at him was the other two. But no words were said. They found themselves in the hot sun. Naruto felt a bit better. Perhaps it was a prospect of focusing on something else, being away from the sadness that has recently enveloped him. His dream to become Hokage was dead, as he no longer found himself pursuing that dream, something that he hated. He never thought that he would ever be the one to ever give up. However, thinking about that made him think about other things. It made him realize how weak he was. What else was he going to go after? If it wasn't a dream to get stronger to be the leader, why did he need strength? What purpose would he have? Naruto did not know, and keeping all of this to himself was becoming a problem that he did not even realize. However, they had a more internal problem to deal with as Kakashi was ripped to shreds. It was the first time since Mizuki, but this was different. Perhaps it was because they were outside, perhaps it was because his mind focused, realizing that he was facing a real enemy, someone that was here to take his life, someone that was here to cut him down. The demon brother was racing towards him. As Naruto gazed towards the weapon, there was a large blade on the gauntlet. The man sped towards him and sliced, realizing that if he did not do something, he would be screwed. Naruto disconnected his mind from his body. He had no idea what he did. However, this linked back to something that was ingrained in his very DNA, his blood, that he had no idea about. In doing so, Naruto weaved under the strike. His right leg lapped and slammed into the demon brother's stomach. Sasuke made things better for him as he hooked the chain to the ground like kunai and shuriken. Naruto grabbed on and pulled himself up and flipped, his legs wrapping around the man's neck. The both of them collapsed down to the ground. The demon brother threw his arm back, but Naruto tilted his head. The blade slammed into the ground beside his head as Naruto held him there, placing his arm over the man's arm. The demon brother was strong though as he lifted Naruto up, but Naruto refused to let go. The man tried to get him off, but all try fail. Due to the chain being stuck, he couldn't go anywhere, which resulted in him passing out, collapsing on the ground, as Sasuke was able to deal with the other one by using the chain as his advantage, delivering a brutal kick. When Naruto realized what just happened, he was surprised. He's seen things like this before, back in the academy, back when Haruka was teaching them moves that would remove your opponent from the fight completely, without any lasting damage. In that moment, Naruto disconnected his mind from his body, going purely on instincts, despite never truly being focusing and ingraining that into him. In that moment, he reacted. Kakashi Hataki, who was observing, was rather shocked. Naruto was also shocked as well. All of this was putting his mind into a deeper perspective. Him giving up on that dream that he once had, feeling this disconnection with Konoha, feeling this great change inside of him. Naruto started to realize how weak he was. It had made him recall the past, things that he saw, things that he was taught, but at the time never truly focused to really learn them. And he did something that should have been impossible a moment ago, yet he pulled it off. Kakashi arrived, revealing why he faked his own demise, which led to another problem. Kazuna had lied. Time skip. That same girl from before, who had been viewing the scenery with a smile, arrived at Konoha. She gazed downwards, observing the village, watching. She made sure not to get too close. She seemed to be talking to someone, but no one was around. She closed her eyes and focused. As she proceeded to fall down into the forest. Arriving there, she sat down, calming her mind and relaxing. She wasn't quite in the vicinity of the village, but she was close enough. She couldn't afford to be caught. After all, she was wanted, hunted, and yes, she was on the run. Finally, she got a glimpse of what she was looking for as she sped off, leaving Konoha and heading towards the land of fire as she made her way. Meanwhile, Team 7 found themselves in another pickle. Naruto had never felt such fear. He was overwhelmed, overcome by dread. His depression was nothing compared to what he was currently feeling. There was a violent amount of bloodlust in the air as Zabuza Momochi threatened to bisect them in pieces, threatened to remove their organs one by one. Naruto looked down towards his shaking hand. Naruto was never usually this afraid. Perhaps it was his own naive way of thinking. And now that he realized that his impossible goals were truly impossible, did that make him afraid? He felt the bloodlust. He felt that terrible, haunting feeling, trying to consume him whole. His gaze flicked towards Sasuke. However, Sasuke seemed to be far more affected than he was. The Uchiha was reaching up with his kunai. Naruto had lashed out and grabbed onto his, once again going by instinct alone. "What the hell are you doing?" he said. Sasuke was terrified, feeling overwhelmed, as he felt like it was better to just end it all. Naruto's words seemed to snap him out of his funk when Kakashi spoke up. He won't allow anything to happen to any of them. His chakra stabilized the area, returning everything back to normal, consoling the three genins that were there. However, Kakashi got sloppy and he got caught. Meanwhile that was going on, making her way was that same person. As she flew, she passed by, getting into the land of fire. As she arrived towards the same area where Naruto and his group had been, she seemed to be tracking Team 7. As she ventured, most people, well, they will need a boat to get across, but wings, beautiful orange, green wings, expanded from her back. She took off flying, making her way across the sea, heading towards the other side. Back with the group, Kakashi Hataki was freed by a combination attack by Naruto and Sasuke, tricking Zabuza. Kakashi was done playing around, and it shows as he demolished the man, but he eventually passed out due to the chakra consumption. They were greeted with a new player, saying that they were a hunter nin, hunting for Zabuza. Team 7 made their way to the house, where they were introduced to the family there. Kakashi was out of it. By the time he came back though, he brought some rather startling news. Zabuza was still alive. Sakura screeched, fear, knowing that they will have to go up against that monster once again. Sasuke seemed ready, wanting to actually be the one to take him down this time. As for Naruto, well, he was all over the place at the moment. Time skip. The village was in a bad form. You could see that from the people and the way they dress, the buildings. Now they understood why Tazuna did what he did. Their people would not survive much longer with the prices that they were forced to pay to Gato. They will eventually be sucked dry, and after that they will have nothing left. Team 7 found themselves training. Kakashi wanted to make sure that they were ready for the next time they go up against that man. However, there was an incident with the son of Tsunami, daughter of Tazuna, where he cursed at the members. His words affected Naruto more than anyone else. The child seemed so lost, like he had no hope. Naruto realized that was the same way that he felt, and it sickened to his very stomach. Naruto ended up getting up. I just need some air, he said. He left soon after Inari left for his bed. Naruto ventured out into the forest and proceeded to collapse. From the moment he was hit with this realization, from the moment his one dream was unraveled, everything else in his life started to be unraveled. Everything else started to fall apart, and he hated it. However, gazing up towards the beautiful moon, Naruto saw the silhouette of someone looking down at him. Suddenly, the person flew down. At first he thought he was just imagining things. He shot to his feet, confused. Who the hell was this? The person landed and removed the scarf, showing beautiful orange eyes, a tan skin. She had mint green hair, with an orange clip in her hair. She smiled at him before she sniffed the area, basically sniffing him. It's you. I knew it, she said, running up and hugging him. Naruto was taken aback. Sorry about that. I tend to get a bit too handsy, I was told, she said. She never stopped smiling. Who are you? Oh, my name is Fu. She said, extending her hand. It's nice to meet you. What's your name? I'm Naruto. Oh, how did you... How did I what? You were in the sky. Oh, I was flying. Look, as she fluttered the wings from her back. Naruto was amazed by them. Who are you? I said I'm Fu. Yes, I know that, but... Where did you come from? You act like you know me. Well, not personally, but we're the same. We're both Jinjulikis. Jinjulikis? Naruto's mind started to recall something that was told to him by Hiruzen. So unfocused at the time, he did not pay attention. But now he was. Wait. He rocked his mind and remembered. There were 9 of them. You have one as well, he said. Yep, the 7-tailed beast, she said, as she pointed towards her stomach area. So we're just alike. How did you find me? Oh well, my tail beast is rather special, but we can talk about that later. Wanna come with me? Why? Said Naruto. I can tell that you're not happy here. So let's go. We're both alike. We both can understand one another more than anyone else. Let's go and explore the world. Let's do something rather than being confined to these villages that keep us sad and locked away. Her expression shifted for a split second, but returned back to normal. I'm sorry, but I can't just leave my village and my team, said Naruto. But you don't want to be here. I can feel it and I'm not wrong. You don't know what I want, said Naruto. And I'm not just gonna leave and go with someone that I don't know. But we're just alike. That might be true in a way, but we're nothing alike in another way, said Naruto. I'm sorry if you misunderstood things, but I can't go with you. But you were my last hope, she said, looking down. What do you mean, said Naruto. However, she flew off. Hey, wait! He tried to stop her, but she was already gone. Damn, she's fast. Naruto thought to himself as she was out of there. She seemed so sad. Naruto collapsed back on the ground, remembering what she said. Perhaps he did want you to go, but that was crazy, right? This was his home. This was his team. He couldn't do something like that. That would make him no better than a traitor. However, the next morning Naruto met someone. Another girl. She was cute as well. However, she asked him a question that affected him more than anything else. If he had any precious people. The ramen owners came to mind, but it wasn't satisfied enough. Gigi came to mind, but not even that. No one. There was no one. Naruto felt even more sad. This wasn't good. He felt like he wasn't fighting for anything. He felt like everything was just stagnant. He felt like he wasn't even on a team. He felt bad that he felt this way. And it wasn't good one bit. A distance away, she could feel it. The now identified Fu. She could feel his sadness. That is why she hadn't left. She didn't know why he didn't agree. The others turned her down. He was the last one. But he was different from all of them. She thought they were better together, but she was wrong. But this one, why did he feel so different? She felt bad. She could feel what he was feeling to an extent. And she was worried. because it was only getting worse. She wanted to do something, wanted to help. She wanted to remove him from this environment. Perhaps only then he can truly be happy. Having something else. Having someone to be there for him. As the days flew by, Naruto found himself interrupting a fight. Stopping in near from being killed. Kakashi had spoken to the young child, and that seemed to have invigorated back the hope inside of him. Naruto saving him and his mother seemed to have brightened that light to an extreme degree. Him believing that they can do it now. Naruto wondered why. It wasn't the same for him. Why couldn't he just snap it on and off like that? And he hated that he could not. He raced towards the bridge. Without thinking, he jumped inside to save Sasuke, but you idiot. You should have stayed outside so we could have fought together. Me on the in and you on the out, but now we're both trapped. He really did not think. Because something was off. This feeling that he was getting from that individual that stood and glared down towards them, the mask obscuring their face. Both him and Sasuke fought with everything they had. This person was fast, precise and deadly. Naruto found himself cornered as he was about to be impaled. However, confusion grazed Naruto's features. Unable to understand why. This makes no sense. You don't even like me, he said. It's not like we're even friends. We're just teammates. Why the hell would you risk your life for mine? His anger got the better of him. It was actually the first time he was getting angry since. Everything. Naruto didn't understand why Sasuke would jump in the way and risk his life like that. It made no sense. However, Sasuke did not know why either. His next words stir something within Naruto. Is that the first time you've watched a comrade die? Shut the hell up, said Naruto. Flying towards the bridge. She felt it. She felt the power rising. He's losing control, she said. I have to do something. What? What do you mean, wait? I have to help him. But I can't just... Alright, fine, she said. I'll wait. Fu said, watching. The entire structure exploded after a minute. Naruto burst out, knocking the hunter Nin. A new one. However, he stopped himself when he saw the face. For the first time, Naruto allowed hatred to truly consume him. After seeing Sasuke took his final breath, his anger reached the levels that, for the first time, dipped into something more primal, the beast's power. However, Haku collapsed down. Why? I'm sorry, Haku said. I had to do it. It's Zabuza you were talking about. The one that you would die for. The one that you owe everything to. Haku nodded. Naruto understood. It felt strange, but he indeed understood. Then again, Sasuke was... Your friend is not dead. What? I only hit him to paralyze him. The same thing I did to Zabuza. I never meant to kill any of you. Only my target. You know, for someone working for such a bad guy, you're truly nice, you know that. I've been told that before. Maybe in another life. We could have been better friends. It seems like you need one. What? Said Naruto. I saw your face when I asked my question. When we met. I can see through that look. I've seen it many times before. But trust me, as long as you don't make it swallow you, you can indeed come back from that. Haku said with a smile. You think so? Naruto said. However, the problem was Naruto believed that it had already consumed him. His mind then wandered back to that girl, the Jinchuriki. Naruto turned his gaze as he saw Fu in mid-ear watching him. The distraction allowed Haku to slip away. Wait, Naruto said running after Haku, but he went through an ice mirror. Unfortunately though, Naruto watched the blood splatter. Fu stood where she was, as Naruto lost it on Zabuza when he did not seem to care about Haku's death, which resulted in Zabuza massacring Goto and his men. The others eventually ran away when Naruto summoned a bunch of clones to intimidate them. Kakashi summoned some fake clones as well. However, Naruto gazed back down towards the corpse of Haku, knowing that this was something that he should learn from, something that should help him be a better ninja, something that should help him on his journey. Yet his mind couldn't help but wonder. He gazed back up as he saw Fu fly away, leaving the area. Time skip. Naruto was standing at their graves, having helped bury them, when someone landed down beside him. You ran away before we could finish speaking, said Naruto. I'm sorry, said Fu. Why did you seek me out, said Naruto. I get it that I'm just like you, but why? Fu stepped next to him. I'm alone, she said. I left my village some time ago in order to find people like me so that we could be together, to be with our own kind. However, I've come across others like us, but they don't want anything to do with me. But you're different. The feeling I get from you is different than the others. It makes me feel like I'm back home. Like I'm back in that place. And I don't want to feel that way. And if I'm feeling that way from just being near you, I know that it's bad for you as well. This place doesn't make you happy. And going with you, that would make me happy, said Naruto. I don't know. But at least it would be worth a try. You know what you're saying, right? You're saying I should abandon my village, abandon my team, become a traitor. Yes, I know, she said. And I know why you're turning me down. Despite everything, you're loyal. They should be happy that you care for them this much. I'm sorry that I bothered you. But don't worry. You will meet someone one day. Someone that will make you happy. You will find something. I'm sure of it, she said, as she started to walk away. Wait. She paused, as Naruto looked towards her. You're right. I'm not happy. I had a dream. To be the Hokage of my village. To be the leader of my people, but I put myself in their situation and realized how stupid it really was. I had no idea why it affected me so much, but that little loss, that little part of me that gave up on my dream, on my goal, on what I wanted, it gave up on everything else. And now I feel stuck, like I'm simply going through the motions. I feel empty and hollow. However, being here, Despite the terrible atrocities that took place, I feel different. Like there's a chance. The thought of going back, I can't. I don't hate the people there. After all, a lot of them lost their loved ones. Mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers. They deserve better than me, being the problem in their eyes. After all, every time they look at me, all they see is the one that took everything away from them. And I would really hate that if I was them. And I don't feel welcome anymore. I know that this was never my choice. But it's just something I can't overcome. I've suffered in silence with this, not letting anyone in. But somehow I can talk to you. Because maybe you're right. Maybe we're just alike. So yes. Yes, she said. I'll come with you, said Naruto. I can look at you and tell that. You mean me no harm. I don't know why. She smiled and took his hand. It's a bond that we Jinjuliki share. When we're not forced to fight one another, we can see past deception. We can see past the lies in one another, and we can know the truth. I'm not sure what the future is going to bring for us, but we can make the better of it, she said. Naruto reached and removed his headband. He's been feeling so lost, so sad. However, this was a big step. Leaving behind everything. Leaving behind his identity. Leaving behind who he was. Leaving behind what he was. Changing everything. Traveling with this girl that he barely knew, despite the both of them being alike. He was going to leave. He was Konoha's greatest weapon. He had a beast that could level mountains. He had no doubt in his mind that they would come after him, but he did not really care. Because he wanted to go. He needed to go. He needed to leave. He needed to do this. Naruto looked back at Fu. Yeah, I'm in, he said. Making a big decision that was going to change. Not just everything for him, but everything for everyone else as well. Because in this moment, Naruto Uzumaki was going to change the destiny that he was given. He was going to change his future and change so much more. As he made his way, leaving behind everything with his new friend, Fu. Time skip. Naruto returned back to the house. As he gathered the members that were there, he gathered them all, not just his team, but he gathered Iniri, Tazuna, and Tsunami. He had something to say to them, mostly Iniri though. I too was missing something when I arrived here. It seems like you were able to find yours, and I'm going to try and find mine. So I thank you for that. All of you, said Naruto. This mission might have been a lie in the beginning, but in the end, it has helped me a lot. What's going on? Sakura said. Why are you saying all of that? I'm sorry guys, said Naruto. I'm broken one of the rules that you said. I guess this makes me kind of a scum. Kakashi gazed narrowed when he heard that, fearing the worst. He looked at Naruto, actually looking at him. What have you done? Don't bother, said Naruto. He's already gone. I'm here to give you this. He was holding the headband as he placed on the table. Wait, what's going on? Sakura said. Why are you doing this? Kakashi said. Where are you going? That will defeat the whole purpose, now would it? He pulled something out. This will explain everything, he said. It was a letter that he wrote. I'm sorry. Poof! Kakashi ran outside, trying his best to find Naruto. However, he would have no luck. None at all. As Sasuke stepped towards the headband, he's gone. Sakura stood there shocked. But guys, if you end subscribe right here. If you want to see next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels. Links will be down in the description, but I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace, guys.